fearless song. But nooneth, wind is blast and weather strong. Hey, what this night is long, and each with well meet shall wrong. So reckon murrin and fast.
Beans. Oh, I feel like it's been so long since I last spoke to you. I think it was Nabon, so I guess it has been a long time. If you were like me, you were spending this last week doing all kinds of projects coming up for Samhain. Some of you may have already done yours. I'm in the process still. So I thought I would share some of the things that I'm doing with you today. I thought that'd be a good reason to have a video. I also wanted to catch up a little bit with everybody. Let you know how I've been. Some people have been asking for me, and some people were worried that maybe I was not making videos anymore. No, I'm here. And I hope that you see a little more of me than you have in the past. First of all, catching up, I have some things to show you here. First of all, you remember if you saw my Why Witches Don't Witch video, I was making sauerkraut. Beautiful quarts of sauerkraut. I think I have maybe 9 more of these from that batch that I was making. It's delicious. I just took it with me to the camping event. I took some with me. The camping event that I was preparing for at Nabon that happened in the early part of October. It's delicious. We cooked it with some homemade bratwurst that my husband made and had a real lovely time. Cooked it on the fire. Hi, baby. Hi, Zooey. Hi, you feet. Hi, Finny. So this is delicious, and now I have, instead of in the same place, I can't show you right now, but across the way where the crock had sat previously now is a bucket of olives. I'm curing some olives, so maybe I'll share that in another video. Okay, so I have that. This been Zilla that I was prepping for. I was prepping on the wool for the contest that we had, the worldwide contest. We did not win. We were not last place in the contest, but our team, I think the California teams, the California state of California was, I think, the winning state. It was a worldwide contest. I believe California was the winner. And of that winning state, I believe our team was last place in the team. But it's still a you know, no shame there. I think the winners spin something like over 4 miles a piece. Each member of their team spin over 4 miles during the week. I personally spun close to 1,000 yards, not a mile, a little short of a mile, which was a great feat for me because it was very hot. I had several days I could not spin at all for traveling and setting up the campment and things like that. But when I did spin, it was very hot. It was probably 95 degrees in the day, and it cooled off nicely at night, but when it's 95, you just really don't feel like having your hands in the wool. It was sticking to the wool. So anyway, we got that done. It was very fun, and I hope to put some of that. That'll be up on my blogs, one of my medieval blog. You'll see some of that if any of you read that. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, my chickens. You've been asking about my chickens. You remember I shared the little chick? Well, my chickens are doing great. They're 6 months old now. They just turned 6 months, and we have, I believe, 4 of the chickens of the 6 are laying regularly. We get, and I'll show you. I have some eggs here. I'll show you how lovely. We're getting eggs every day. We get at least 3, usually 4. And maybe I can show you these lovely, beautiful eggs. They're really nice size now. They're getting to be a nice size, you know, and they're just gorgeous. They're just, it's wonderful having fresh eggs. These little green ones, bluish green or whatever they are, that belongs to, those are Patsy's. We know Patsy's laying those, but the rest of them, not quite sure. We have a guess. We know a couple of them. I think the 4th chicken is under debate who the 4th one is. We know 3 of the 4 for positive sure. Okay. My tarot project finished up. My tarot Lenormand project, I should say, finished up but I did decide to keep that layout in my repertoire. It was so much fun. I really had fun with it. And I even got into the further it went along. I was really sorry to see it stop. So if any of you are interested in the future and wanting to get a reading from me, please contact me. Another thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get my presence a little better online, and I'm working on getting a website, probably a website, getting a page at the very least on Facebook, and where you can contact me for things, and get my Etsy shop up and running. I've had an Etsy shop for a long time. I just haven't got it up and running, and I'm trying to do that because I really have some things I want to share on that. So if you are interested in any of that information, stay tuned, or like I said, right now, if you want a tarot reading, just please get a hold of me, private message me on Facebook, or leave me a message here and I will contact you. It was fun. One of the things I got out of the little experiment is we learned how to do Skype, and I learned how to switch between cameras, so it really was nice to do a reading. It's nice to be able to have the person see the cards and see me at the same time. That's what I was working for. Anyway, we can do that. Let's see. Okay, so today, talking about some Samhain. I wanted to it's going to be a real brief. You all know about Samhain, but I did want to say some of the projects that I'm working for, you might want to try at home if you still have time to do some of them. This year, our Samhain is it has the atmosphere of, when we say the expression, when your worlds collide, when I think all of us have different groups that we spend time with. Here we have our online pagan community, but we also have family. We have other kind of friends. We might have work friends. I particularly have friends, I mentioned before, of course, that my medieval friends. And one of the things I do regularly with my medieval friends is we host at our home a bardic circle every season. And a bardic circle it's a time to get together. Usually we gather around a fire and we share stories, period stories, or songs, or things like that. And it just happened this year, for scheduling purposes, we had to have it on Samhain. Oh, I didn't want to do that because we usually do other things on Samhain, and I thought, how's that going to work? Well, it's kind of interesting. It's coming together in a really interesting way. And one of the things I want to share with you today is one of the ways that we can still be true to Samhain and also to our medieval friends. So anyway, I'm going to be cutting this. I'm going to be editing this. I'm going to have to edit this all together at the end because I have a couple, I don't want it to be too long, and I want to show you each thing separately. Okay. The song that you heard at the beginning of this video was a song from the Middle Ages, something that we sing. That was our troupe singing, performing that song, parts of it. You heard bits of it. About this season of winter, the beginning of winter coming on, and it's sung in Middle English. I'm sure you do know, maybe you do not know, but during the Middle Ages, during the time up until about the late 14th into the 15th century, people did not speak English as we speak it today. They spoke what was called Middle English, a transitioning language from the old ancient English, or French, or Scots, Gaelic, or whatever language they spoke. It evolved. It evolved into what is now modern English. And so it was written in Middle English, and the words to it are, I'll get my glasses to make sure, and the words are, Myriad is with a summer elast, with vogel song. Merry it is while the summer lasts, with the song of birds. Ach, nu neath wind is blast and weather strong. Now draws near the winter, blast and the harsh weather. what this Nacht is long. Alas, how long the night is, and each with wel Michael strong. And now I most wrongfully Sorgen muren done fast, sorrow and mourn and fast. To the insular Celts, the world was divided into two parts, the light and the dark. We do that too in our practice. The light half of the year, the dark half of the year. To them, winter and summer. Samhain actually marks the end of summer. End of summer. All the herds that they have in the mountains, in the hills, in the pastures in the hills, all their herds were brought down at this time, and they were either slaughtered and they'd be stored for the winter, or the animals were sheltered for the winter. Okay, it was at this time that all the harvest had to be gathered and stored. It was believed at this time of the year that the fairies would come in November. If you did not have your harvest in, they would come and blight. Anything still left in the fields come November would be blighted by the fairies' breath and of no use. So everything was brought in, and again, it was prepared for storage, and it was a time for great feasts, right? And everywhere there was fire. There was fire for the cooking, for the burning, for a lot of ceremonial use, for baking, right? This was the time of the year where the veil, we already know the veil was very thin at this time. Okay, so just like we know that our ancestors might come and visit us. We talked about that last year at Samhain, and then when we were talking about the Day of the Dead, time when the ancestors could come and visit. It was also a time when the gods were the closest to earth at any other time, at Samhain, both at Samhain and at Beltane. So this was a perfect time to petition with prayers, ask for things, ask for special blessings, of course, make sacrifices for special favors, etc. And fire was used. Fire was used at that time. So often somebody would throw tokens of things that they wish for into the fire, offering gifts. The bones and parts of the animals that they would not be able to use were also thrown into the fire. Sometimes animals were sacrificed, but really at most times that was just not the case, because think about how valuable that animal really was. I mean, animal slaughtering was really not really done at this time of the year like you think it would be. That's something that would be more done maybe about time. But in the winter, everything that needed to be, and they used as much of the animals as they absolutely could. The food, for food, because it had to be stored. Anyway, so when we were talking about having our medieval friends come and join us on Samhain. One of the activities we decided to do was similar to what we talked about with the petitioning, putting petitions into the fire. Now, all of us have done, I think, similar things. I know we do things using a cauldron and pieces of paper, where we write things that we petition, we write things we wish, or sometimes, more often for that, we're writing things that we wish to pass off, things we want to be rid of, and we do that in ritual and burn it in a cauldron. Well, we can't do that in this group, because we're going to be sitting and singing and telling stories around a campfire, which is going to keep burning. And if we threw paper in there, this is a safety check. You throw paper into a fire like that, you're going to have all kinds of burning embers coming out there, burning ash, flying ash, which is very, very dangerous. Can catch clothing on fire, can start fires in dry gardens or whatever. So it's very dangerous, so you don't want to ever put paper into a fire like that. It's different when it's in just a contained cauldron with no wood in it. But a wood fire, you put wood in. So what we did, my husband went out and we had some orange wood that he had been saving, that he uses to smoke, an old orange tree that had been taken out. And he just cut discs, just cut little discs like this of wood. And we're going to have these available for people if they want to use them. And they can use the Sharpie. We'll have a Sharpie. I had a Sharpie laying around here, but Betty White, one of my cats, steals it when she sees it. It's, I don't know where it is. But put a symbol or write something on the wood, and then in the course of the evening, just throw that into the fire as they wish. A kind of intention, okay? Now, it was very funny. I was out looking today, as a matter of fact, this morning I was looking for something I could not find, and I went into Joann's, and of course they sell discs of wood like this for like $5 for a bag of maybe this many pieces. For $5. Are you kidding me? And I don't even know what kind of wood it is. I'm not sure what they're selling it for, but they seem to think it's very valuable. I would hope you would not do that. But if you had to, if you didn't have any access to a saw, I guess you could go and do that. But it doesn't have to be a perfect disc. It could be any kind of wood. It's just a piece of wood that you could. Anyway, so that's one of the things we're going to be doing, and that should be fun. Okay, now I'm gonna break right now because I want to get set up for the next little activity that I want to share.